We had a service-oriented architecture of great complexity, probably before anybody else. And so we could kind of, because we were doing that, we could kind of see the future a little bit, and decided to build AWS, which has turned into, you know, a huge business in its own right. And that is, you know, if you were always, business is very situational, and so rules of thumb are good, but they have to be applied to the right situation. So sometimes the old maxim that you should stick to the knitting is correct, but sometimes the adage that you should stick to the knitting is wrong. And you know, a senior leader's job is to figure out in which situation are you.
Drones. You had this amazing commercial on 60 Minutes last year at this time about this fantastic future when drones are going to fly out and bring me my package and it's going to be right there. And immediately, everybody in the country and probably around the world was saying, great, when?
Yeah.
When?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer. Technology is not going to be the long pole. The long pole is going to be regulatory. And in fact, I just went and met with the Prime Air team and saw like the 10th or 11th generation drone, I can't remember, flying around in the cage. And it's truly remarkable. I mean, a lot of this is it's not just the physical airframe and electric motors and so on and so on. The most interesting part of this is the autopilot and the guidance and control and the machine vision systems that make it all work. But the long pole in this tent is going to be regulatory, and that is very difficult to predict. I bet you the Prime Air team, the ratio of lawyers to engineers on the Prime Air team is probably the highest at Amazon.
Is this a situation where everyone else in the world except Americans is going to get drone deliveries?
I think it is sad but possible that the U.S. could be late. It's highly likely that other countries will do it first. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I may be too skeptical. I hope I'm wrong.
You turned 50 recently.
Yeah.
Any change outlook on life?
No, not really. I'm still dancing into the office. I love my life. I have 4 kids. My wife claims to still like me. I don't question her aggressively on that. I do the dishes every night, and I can see that actually makes her like me. It's a very odd thing.
I do that too.
I'm pretty convinced it's like the sexiest thing I do.
You had a book written about you recently at Amazon.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Yes, I read it.
And?
I think, I could say many things, but I'd say that the first half of the book does an extraordinarily good job of capturing the culture of Amazon in the early days. Very, very good. I would also say that, I get way too much credit in the book. There are a lot of people who have played huge roles in Amazon's history, and they're kind of almost completely left out or just barely mentioned. And so, I don't know, maybe someday I'll write that book and make sure that those people get their credit.
Your wife reacted to the book with an incredibly long defense on Amazon as a comment. Incredibly well written, say, "This is not my husband." Who is right? I mean, it sucks to have stuff written about you.
You don't think I'm going to sit up here on stage and tell you my wife is wrong?
There we go.
Henry, I don't even know where you're going.
What was she objecting to?
Well, she was there in the early days, and look, you've been a public figure. You still are, but you had more public figureness in your earlier, stock analyst days. I've been a public figure. You get used to everything being wrong about you. It's sort of, anytime you think you know a public figure from their media, you really don't. It's very. I've gotten to know several public figures. You don't know them. You can't tell that Bill Gates is an amazing dad. I know that. But it's very hard. But other people, like my wife, she doesn't have as much experience with this, and so I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. What are you like as a dad?
Me? Let's see.